Are you truly comfortable, confident, and happy in your own skin? Can you honestly say you really love yourself and you're happy with yourself every day? What's holding you back, realistically? Low self-confidence? Well, let's talk about 5 ways that you can reframe rejection to help boost your confidence now. Let's get into this training. So, who is this training for? Well, have you ever felt like a misfit? Have you ever felt like, yeah, you're not sure where you belong at times? You're never like quite good enough in one group. You're never quite yourself in another. Struggling to find identity. What about a self-sabotager? Do you get close to the goal and then quit? Find an excuse? Feel like a failure because you just can't see things through? Makes you feel lost and alone, but you don't want to admit it? Or maybe you admit it too much. Maybe you're one of those people who doesn't stop talking about your problems and you wonder why you don't have friends, but you don't realize you're talking about your problems over and over again. We need to recognize those old patterns, those old stories that have been running in our minds for far too long, identify them so that we can work towards making changes. So, who is this training not for? We would ask kindly that if you are a narcissist, please get off this webinar. This training, this is not for you. We have nothing to offer you. Dilemma though, narcissists generally don't know they're narcissists, so they might still hang around. However, we'll go through the rest of the list. You'd like to sign out if you are a person who lacks empathy, if you don't care about other people, quite frankly, you're in the wrong training, because we speak a lot about, being kind to others and that how that can help you. So that probably wouldn't work. Closed-minded people, same thing. You would just get out of the group because we do things in a different way. This is the most unique training style that the world has ever seen. That's why we added in some world trivia too. So pay attention to the little cartoons and clues, because everything means something. So if you're a selfish jerk, you have a harder time paying attention to the clues. But don't get too caught up in that. That's just there for fun. And in all seriousness, this is the time that anyone can opt out if you don't have a sense of humor. In the next 25 minutes, learn why the universe brought you here. Maybe to have some fun with our trivia game, or maybe to learn how to crush some limiting beliefs. Let's build that confidence. Let's have a good laugh. Let's have some fun. Let's dive into the training. Imagine what your life would look like if every day you got to spend time with a supportive individual who only wanted the best for you. Now imagine that person was you. We all have an inner voice. So imagine if we were so guided by that inner voice that we knew we could trust it in times of good or bad. That would change and reshape our futures if we knew we were our own best friends and we could learn how to trust its guidance. Then we could seek out the people who truly had our best interest at heart, and we can follow through and follow the right leaders. That's how this training works. So what would your life really look like if you truly trusted your inner coach, that inner voice, and you had a clear understanding of what was really holding you back? You started to reframe rejection in a way that worked in your favor, in a way that you don't have to be ashamed of, so that you could have a clear vision of your future. And you could map out that vision and live a fulfilling life full of confidence. How different would your life really be if you learned how to truly, truly, truly love yourself? On the flip side of that, what if you keep doing what you're doing, banging your head against the wall, continuously living in the same cycle and not breaking those old negative patterns? You've probably had the experience of doing something 4 out of 5 times really well, yet you dwell on the one thing you didn't do well. Or perhaps a colleague or a friend gives you some feedback. There's a lot of positives in it, but maybe one negative, and you choose to focus on the negative. What will life look like if you keep dwelling on the negatives and you do not change these old patterns? The reality, it's not going to look good. So let's make some changes now, today. Let's get started. Stick around to the end of this training. Aside from the fact that you'll learn something and personal growth is always important, I believe in learning something new every single day. It's always nice to get something for free too. So for a $49 value, our Go Getter Planning Guide, our 90-day Go Getter Planning Guide will be provided to you for free. That is our gift to you today, to hang around to the end of the session, learn something, but we'll also give you a free gift just for your time. Not only because I believe the book is so valuable and so fun, and I want you to have it because I do believe it's going to help you, but because your time is valuable too. And I want you to start recognizing how valuable your time really is. And that's the first step in learning your own worth. We repeat what we don't repair, but if we don't even know it was broken, or we know it's broken, but we don't know how to fix it, we sabotage the great things in our lives because deep down, we don't feel worthy of having great things. So we continuously self-sabotage, and our inner coach isn't a friend, and we're following the wrong things. So if that sounds like you're in the right place, because reframing that thinking is exactly what we have to do so that we can start to change and start to crush your limiting beliefs. If you find yourself struggling but trapped in a circle of putting others first, you are definitely in the right place because you have a kind heart, but you need to know that self-love is important. So let's build the confidence and let's start training. If you learn nothing else, but discover that success is truly liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it, maybe that's enough. But results speak for themselves. You need to find what success means to you. And I know I've helped many people find success within themselves. I'm hoping that we can do the same in this training for you. In this training session, we're going to talk about the 5 pillars to reframe rejection, because rejection is something that so many of us attach our worth to. So reframing it can actually help us. So seeing obstacles as opportunities and how to change that thinking in our life can propel us forward. Having flexibility, self-reflection, the importance of stopping and actually reflecting, mapping your journey, and refreshing that self-awareness is all what we're going to cover in this training. I want you to start to pay attention to the old stories and the old narratives that have been running through your mind. I want you to mind your language. Become aware of how you are talking to yourself and what tone you are using. Are you friendly to yourself? Or are you constantly criticizing yourself, constantly telling yourself you're not good enough, constantly in your ear as your own worst enemy? Most of us are. So this is the first thing I want you to be aware of, is when you're doing it and why. Start to take note of those things, because those old stories are shaping your brain constantly over and over and over again. And the further we go back into your history and into the things that have shaped you and further back into your memories, the more we'll have an understanding of those old patterns and why you keep repeating the same things over and over again and have a hard time breaking away from them. So recognizing those old stories is the first thing we need to do to combat them. The only way to truly change an old habit, an old story, an old saying, an old belief is by replacing it. So by stepping out of the history that is holding you back, you're able to step into a new story that you're willing to create. Powerful Words by Oprah Winfrey. She created a whole new story and a whole new life based on her beliefs. And I had to do the same. I believed my story was worthlessness. Abused girl, never going to be worth anything else. I had to believe in myself enough to step into my new story. So what's your new story going to be? Instead of feeling sorry for myself, which I did, I can't lie, but I had to reshape that story continuously when I believed I wasn't good enough. And the people that hurt me told me I wasn't worthy, told me I didn't belong, pushed me out. Or sometimes it was me pushing me out, telling me those things, even when people around me were telling me positive things. I had to see myself as somebody different because the patterns and the habits that I had at one time in my life were keeping me repressed, were keeping me hidden from the world. I had to start to believe in myself to step outside of my comfort zone. I had to educate myself to become more worthy. And I did. And then I got kicked back to the same cycle over and over again. And that's okay because every time that happens, I got to learn something more about myself to move me forward. And then I realized when I look back, I still have always gained because I educated myself. So there is no bad day if you learn something. So that's a new story. What if rejection was life's way of redirecting you toward something better? Here's how to make every no work in your favor. Seeing obstacles as opportunities is absolutely the first step. Most motivational speakers would suggest that rejection is a sign that you're aiming high and that you've stepped outside of your comfort zone. So, congratulations, that's a great thing. Of course, if your life is comfortable every single day, that just means you're repeating the same patterns over and over again. That's not a good thing. You want to get outside of your comfort zone so that you open yourself up to criticism. You just got to get thicker skin in how you deal with it. This world of comparison is detrimental. Society has become so bad at pinning ourselves on each other instead of saying, hey, we should be celebrating our differences. These obstacles are opportunities because they're a chance for me to grow outside of my comfort zone. Reframing how we see it is seeing it as a positive, knowing that means we are doing something more. We are educating ourselves every day. We are becoming better. That's a great thing. You have to pause this for a second and ask yourself what obstacle is really standing in your way right now. Is it comparison? Is it constantly in your head thinking you're not good enough? What is the obstacle that's in your way today that has been taking you down? Stop for a moment, pause, really think about it. What has really been holding you back? Next, flexibility. Hotly pursuing something or someone for the sake of appearances can give rise to stubbornness and the dark side of ego that refuses to see a different point of view. It may, in some cases, also reduce your ability to accept that there are many different ways of getting where you want to go. Holding on too tightly to a specific outcome or any idea of how you think things should work out can make this social pain even harder to bear. So that rejection is even going to be more difficult if we are holding on so tightly to the end result for the wrong reasons. I myself did this for far too long, trying to impress the wrong people for the wrong reasons is detrimental. Ask yourself, what are your true motivations? Everything comes back to intention. So if we might not even want to continue to pursue something if we actually were to think about the real reason underneath why we are doing it in the first place. When our self-worth goes up, we might discover that we've been trying to please the wrong people for the wrong reasons, and we might have to let that go. The desire to win, beat others, or prove a point, whatever, speaks to the need for external gratification and approval. This suggests a more fixed mindset and an inability to find the reframe. Simply knowing what you want is not enough. Understanding why you want it gives you the flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances and to pursue your goals regardless of the potential rejection. So, are you rejecting yourself? This is a really important question to ask. The opposite of rejection is acceptance, but the experience of rejection does give you an opportunity to explore the ways you do not accept yourself. Seeds of self-doubt can be planted at any age, at any time, for any different reasons. It is those memories that reshape the rejection and the stories. So that goes back to the old stories and the old narratives that we've been telling ourselves over and over again. And if we hadn't had a great teacher or great people around us that have been filling our heads with something that's been more positive, or the people that have been set in our lives to protect us haven't been doing that great of a job either, our own inner coach becomes sabotaged. And then we continuously repeat negative old stories of sabotage. And we don't even know we are constantly rejecting ourselves. And if we're constantly rejecting ourselves, how are we ever going to grow? It's going to be impossible for us because the external world we see we want to be a part of, but the internal world is telling us we're not good enough. We have to match those two worlds. And the first step is by accepting ourselves, flaws and all, imperfections and all, and saying that's it's totally okay. You can, however, stop old stories from limiting your future potential. Mapping your journey is a powerful way to write a new story of strength and resilience. It also helps to nurture self-acceptance. Make a note of negative events that have most influenced your life from your earliest pain memories all the way to the present. Focus on what happened after those experiences of rejection. Look for positive outcomes that occurred as a direct or indirect result of that rejection. One door might have opened as the result of another one closing. What did you learn? What did you learn? Rejection can be a great opportunity to refresh self-awareness. Rejection offers you the same opportunity to check in to see if there's a better way of doing it. Maybe there's a better way this could have been done. You've been doing something over and over and over again, and it just doesn't seem to be working. Maybe this is the time to step back, evaluate the situation, and find if there's a better way. Maybe there's a chance now to hire somebody else that's better at it because they've done it before, and look at your situation from with different eyes if you can't do it yourself. That's why we go to coaches or mentors, to have a different perspective. So this is a chance to look at your own life through different eyes, a different perspective, to see what opportunities there are to do things maybe differently. If I were to ask most people, can you predict the future? They would say no. If I reframe the question and say, can you predict your future? They would say no. And that's a disappointing answer. Why? Because you're in control of your own future. And when you realize that, and I mean really realize that, your whole world will change. Because when you're honest with yourself and follow the path that has been set for you, you're truly in line with who you are. That will propel you forward and help you break the endless cycle of old patterns, old stories, so that you can step into your new life. And that's the first step that we're doing right now. So I have some exciting things for you. I did promise you a free gift. So that's just one thing there. And this is just what we say kind of the introduction to reshaping your whole future and crushing your limiting beliefs. If you want to dive deeper into these programs and really, really, really commit to yourself to making a change so that you can predict your future, then you're in the right place. And I would love, love, love to work with you so that we can become the best possible version of you together. It's hard to do it alone. Trust me, I've tried. I couldn't. I had to reach out to people that were far better than me because they had already done it. I needed their expertise. And now that I have that expertise and I've done those things, I want to pass it along to you. The more we can help each other pay it forward, the better this world will be. Your self-discovery starts here. Why is self-care such a challenge? The real challenge of self-care comes from learning to listen to yourself so that you can figure out your needs and address them. And that's exactly what we do and exactly what we teach you in these programs. So I told you we had exciting offers for you. Of course, we do, because we want to make sure that you have the most success from these programs. And in order to do that, we're going to give you as much as we possibly can. So the programs are laid out nice, easy, user-friendly. You can use them from your computer. You can see you get your download and then you do your lesson. So we have some fun with it. Again, remember that all these little cartoons and added little fun features do tie back to our internet trivia, which is a side thing. There's a chance to win prizes through our affiliates and different options in our memberships, but that's a completely different thing. So right now, your 7-day course is only $497. Only $497 to start crushing your limiting beliefs. But remember, we're going to give you that $49 download for free already today. So you're already going to get it. Don't worry. But in addition to that, if you do purchase our 7-day course, you will as well get your planner, like we said. But in addition to that, you'll actually get the planning guide course that goes along with it. So you can see here, you get an additional course, and this is actually the pre-planning, laid out, set up way to use your planner so that you can actually start setting targeted goals that are focused with specific strategies. So we actually train you on how to set targeted goals overall for the next 3 months. And then we break it down month to month, which is exceptional because having these strategies in your toolbox will change everything. So many people think of the big vision and their goals and their dreams, but when it comes down to it, it's really hard to target and get things so focused so that you're able to achieve them. So this is going to help you from being scatterbrained all over the place. I was one of those girls. That's why I came up with the name Girl Get Your Shit Together, because I didn't have my shit together. So it's coming up with those unique strategies and working through them so that you actually get the most out of these programs. So we're including that $497 value on top of the additional free gift that we have given you. So that's a very, very, very exciting thing. So that's exciting already. And in addition to that, I'm even going to give you something more. We're going to throw in the body reflection course for you. Obviously, as women, that is a big struggle for a lot of people, that reflective time, looking in the mirror and spending time with ourselves, truly analyzing ourselves, but in a way that's honest and healthy and positive, so that we can actually learn to love our bodies, learn the strategies that helps us understand where our thinking comes from. So we're going to give you that course, $197 value for free today with your purchase. So for only $497, you get it all. So a $1,240 value for $497. You're saving $743. So you're saving more than you're even spending. So now we have your toolkit ready to go, ready to start retraining your brain, refocusing your mind, getting yourself set up for a new foundation of thinking so we can reframe all of those old stories and get some new ones to replace them, so we can replace them with positive habits, positive thinkings. This is the best place to start for you. And I am so excited to have you on this journey. You are going to love the results. You got to trust in yourself. This is the first step to loving you, the first step to taking your self-care seriously and allowing yourself permission to do something for you to better yourself and end that repeated, endless cycle of negativity, old patterns, old thinking. Let's break through it. Let's go.